So several years ago, T-Roy Cooks and I did an experiment. We're scientists, barbecue scientists. We wanted to know the effect that spritzing had on ribs, if any. So we took 3 racks of ribs and we treated them exactly the same. We used the exact same rubs. We cooked them in the exact same cooker. Everything we did was exactly identical, except the only thing that we changed was the spritz we were using. We got results, but they weren't as conclusive as I'd liked. And looking back on the video, there were actually a lot more variables going on than we realized. So I want to do this again, and I want to tighten it up so we can actually see what effect spritzing has on ribs. So I'm going to try this experiment again, but I'm going to do it differently this time based on a lot of suggestions from you guys, and I appreciate it because it got me thinking. First off, instead of using 3 racks of ribs, I'm going to use 1 rack of ribs, and I'm going to cut it in half. That way there's no difference in meat quality. It's because it's the exact same meat, right? Secondly, I'm not going to use a commercial barbecue rub. Instead, I'm going to use salt and pepper. And the reason for that is one of the things I want to look at is like smoke ring formation, and sometimes rubs have things in them to help that happen, like nitrates and celery salts and stuff like that. So salt and pepper doesn't have any of that. That's what we're going to use. And then lastly, I'm just going to compare no spritz to water spritz. This is water, you can tell because it says water on it, a sticker. And once you put it on a sticker, it's not coming off. It's not coming off. All right, I know what you're thinking. You're like, why would anybody even do that, you know? Like, isn't the whole point to layer on flavors? Also, why is your face so close to the camera? And the answer is for comedic effect. But also, what if you don't want to layer on flavors? What if you went to a lot of trouble to develop your rub the way you like it and you want to enhance your rub flavor, not overpower it with apple juice or pomegranate juice? Would there still be a reason, if you're happy with your flavor profile, would there still be a reason to spritz your ribs? So today we're using the offset smoker by Lone Star Grillz. They're one of my channel sponsors, and this is my baby. Like, I love this thing. This is the one, when I have time and I'm wanting to make the best barbecue possible, this is the one I use. So let's get to work. All right, guys, we're using oak today, and I'm also supplementing with this apple wood right here. And I'm shooting for about 275 as my target temp, but honestly, guys, she's a big girl and she's kind of opinionated. So if she wants to go at another temperature today, that's what we'll do. But usually when she's heat soaked, she wants to run between 250 and 275. So that's what we're shooting for. This is the same rack of ribs, you know. All I did was remove the membrane and season them with salt and pepper. No smoke ring cheats or anything like, well, other than using an offset. All right, so the cook plan could not be more straightforward. I'm going to go straight through. I'm not gonna wrap. I'm not gonna sauce. I'm just gonna cook these side by side. Every time I add a log, I'm gonna hit it with a spritz of water. I got these marked. I don't know if you can see it, but one of these has a toothpick in it. That's how I'll know which one. And like I said, every time I add a log, probably starting in an hour or 2 so I don't just wash off the rub. I'll rotate them, I'll spritz them, and then at the end, we'll take a look. We'll see if there's a difference. We'll look at them side by side and see if the bark looks different, if the color looks different, if the smoke ring looks different, if there's any difference between these two, this one rack of ribs split in half. So that's the experiment today. I'm really curious about this. I love stuff like this, so should be fun. Now we wait. One thing I'm doing today that is different is I'm using my Thermapen. That's not different. I always use my Thermapen, but usually when I'm cooking ribs, all I'm doing is checking for tenderness. Today, I'm actually gonna check the temps. And the reason for that is because we're spritzing one rack and not the other. I'm wondering if spritzing actually slows down the cook. And if so, I wanna pull them at the exact same temperature. So I'm shooting for between 198 and 200. And I'm also targeting 2 specific ribs. I'm targeting the ribs that are like interior, like closest together from where we did the cut, not the ones on the edges, but right here, because they're about the same size, about the same thickness. I want to get those to be the same, so it's a good side by side comparison. So yeah, that's what I'm doing today. If you need a Thermapen, I'll have a link below. They're really expensive, but they're kind of great. So this might be a good Father's Day present or something like that. So if that's something you're interested in, check it out. All right, guys, we're about 3 hours. No, we're actually 4 hours in. I don't know where that last hour went. I usually check in at 3 hours. I guess time flies when you got the loudest car in the neighborhood. But yeah, I want to show you what I have. Like I said, everything went to plan. I have been, every time I add a log, I've been spritzing and rotating. I started about an hour in, and so this is my sixth time, and I just want to show you what I have so far. I've been checking the bottoms. So far they look pretty good. No reason to wrap them or anything. So yeah, let's go look at what we got. All right, guys, we got about 20 degrees left to go, but I want to show you what I've got so far. Now, there's not like a huge difference between these. Strangely, the spritz rack is actually cooking faster. I don't understand that. That totally blew my theory out of the water. They look very similar. The spritz rack at this point looks darker to me, and this looks a lot redder. And that might be because they're cooking faster. It might not be. But I wanna finish these up. Like I said, there's about 20 degrees left to go. I want to finish these up, and I want to look at the inside and see if there's a difference, because there's an apparent difference on the outside. All right, guys, the ribs are done. They're both temping at 197. It's been 5.5 hours. Most of the time the cooker was right around 240. Like I said, she's opinionated, so sometimes we do what she wants to do, sometimes we do what I want to do. But the ribs are done, and I want to go ahead and pull them out before they overcook. So I'm going to grab those real quick. One thing's for sure, they both look good. So I'm looking at these, and I don't know if this is coming through on camera or not. Let me know if you can see this, but there is definitely a difference on the outside. These are darker for sure, and these are redder. Also, I think these cooked a little more evenly. Interesting thing, the texture, even though this is darker, I think the texture of the bark might be softer on this side. And maybe that makes sense. Maybe that makes sense because we were spritzing. I do find it interesting that these definitely cooked faster. Maybe that is maybe that's one of the side effects of spritzing is instead of slowing the cook down like I thought, maybe it speeds it up. I don't know. That's all I can see from here. Let's cut them open and see what they look like on the inside. All right, guys. What do you see? Because I gotta be honest, I'm staring at this on the screen, and I'm staring at this in real life, and I'm kind of struggling here. All right, I'm gonna make a decision here. I'm gonna pick, and I'm gonna say that the spritz did help with the smoke ring formation. Now again, I know we all know that smoke rings don't matter. I think they matter. I think they look cool. I think it looks like barbecue. And I think if somebody wanted to get the ultimate amount of smoke ring, I think spritzing would help. I do. I think that's what I see. Maybe that's just what I want to see, but that's what I'm going with here. All right, I'm gonna taste them. I'll do that off camera so you guys don't have to hear me smacking, and I'll come back with my final thoughts. All right, so graciously, that was easier than I thought it was gonna be. Okay, in summary, first off, it always amazes me how good ribs can be with just salt and pepper. Every time I do it, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be boring. It's never boring. It's awesome. By the way, this was I didn't mention this earlier, 1 part salt, 2 part pepper, okay? As in summary of this experiment, if I was to wrap it all up, these ribs turned out great. They're some of the best texture-wise I've ever cooked. Like, this is 197 today was the golden degree. As far as the appearance, to me, I like the way the non-spritzed looked. I like the reddish hue that the non-spritz had. Like I mentioned earlier, I don't think I explained this, it cooked more evenly. There was less pooling on top of the ribs, which I think created light and dark spots, which might have been user error on my part. However, once I cut it open, I decided, yeah, I can taste more smoke flavor. There was more going on there. It wasn't anything that I would have noticed if I wasn't trying them side by side. But yeah, I think I would spritz ribs maybe less than I was, so it doesn't pull up. But I think I would spritz ribs if I was just trying to squeeze out every ounce of flavor. Like if you're cooking on like an electric cooker or a cooker that's not known for being really good at imparting smoke flavor, I think this might actually help a little bit. So those are my results. Yeah, so that was a fun experiment. This is something I wanted to do for me. I've got flies all over the place. I'm gonna let you go before they eat me. This is something I wanted to do for me. That last video was fun. It still holds up. I hope you check it out. I'll post it right here. Go see me and Troy make a video. And I love you guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. So I'm gonna do this different than I did last time, based on a lot of suggestions I had from you guys. Sneeze.